The bus is finally done, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of what I've done to it over the course of about a year and a half. So starting at the front, this is a 2002 International school bus. It came with the DT466 engine with the M3060 Allison transmission. That was the exact combo I was looking for. So when this bus popped up in the length I was looking for, I flew up to Wisconsin and drove it back down to Florida. So in terms of the engine work being done to it, I did change a few sensors. I replaced the radiator with a new one. The current one, the one that came with it, was quite clogged, and so my cooling was reduced a lot. So I replaced that, and then while I was in there, I replaced the fan clutch with an electric one so I can manually turn it on and off. The cooling is way better. I also replaced the fan while I was in there, the water pump, the thermostat, and the belt. Underneath here I also replaced the steering gearbox. The steering had some sway to it, and I replaced the shocks on all four wheels. The shocks that were on there were rusted through and they had zero spring back to them. I also replaced all the lights on the entire bus with LEDs, headlights, marker lights, everything. And I also added these spotlight LEDs on all four sides of the bus down low. That way when I'm in national parks in the forest or anything, I'm able to basically just light the entire area up and see the trees that are about to hit the top of my bus and things like that. So this bus, as you can see, I removed all the windows, replaced them with 14 gauge steel, and I painted it with the Raptor liner, which technically I painted with Durabac. It's the bed liner that you put in the beds of trucks. It's super durable, should handle trees scraping against it just fine. So I also replaced all four tires, Goodyear on the front, and then I have the Yokohama, I don't even know how to pronounce it, on the back, but good reviews for them, all-terrain tires. So starting up here, I replaced the two doors that came with the bus with a custom-built door here. It's got an RV lock on it and a window. Basically what you'll see is I tried optimizing this bus as best as possible for the best insulation I could get, which is why I removed all the windows and only put dual pane windows back in. I added driving cameras to all sides of the bus. I got two on the side and then one in the back as well. I have a Ethernet port here that I can connect my Starlink to quite easily, so I don't have to be pulling that cable in and out of the bus every single time. Got my diesel heater exhaust there, and then I have my exhaust for my bus here as well that used to be routed out the back, but I routed it out the side here just so now everything underneath on the back is completely clear and I can use that to store stuff. And where that was routed, I actually put a 100-gallon gray water tank that is now where that once was. And so on the back I added a hitch that I can now carry my Honda Grom. And so this is what I'll be able to use to run to the store and everything. This is a lot simpler to drive around than driving around the bus. And then going all the way around here, you'll be able to see the 100-gallon gray water tank mounted up here underneath the bus. And then going here, you can see I have a spray port. This is so I can hook a hose up to here and I can actually use it to wash the bus, use it to wash the Grom, anything I want there. This is where I would fill my water tanks. City fill. I have a 30 amp hookup here, and then that is my vent for my composting toilet. You'll also see these three circular vents on the side. I went with side mount vents instead of rooftop vents. That way I can put as much solar on the roof as possible. So I got three of these side mount vents you'll see inside. One's by my bedroom, one's in the bathroom, and one's at the kitchen. And then looking at the roof, I have about 4,000 watts of solar up on the roof. And the reason I went with so much is because the goal is to not have to use any propane, nothing. I actually don't have any propane on the bus at all. Everything is run on electricity, so I just needed a lot of power to run all of that. I have an engine block heater for my bus here, and I actually added a power outlet right next to it that I can just plug it in and run it off my house batteries if needed. Speaking of the house batteries, go look at those now. Back here is my, what I call my utility closet. I also use it to hang my clothes that I don't use very often, so it looks very crowded in here. But I went with a 48-volt system right there, and so I did 3 48 volts at 100 amps, which is equal to about 1200 amp hours at 12 volts. I have a 5000 watt inverter. I got my solar charge controller up there, my DC to DC converters to convert it down to 12 volts, and then my distribution blocks there. I have a bunch of wire management still to do, so that's going to look nicer in the future. Got my AC fuse panel there, breaker box, and then over here I have my solar combiner. That's where the wires come in from the roof, get combined in there, they're all fused, and then run to the solar charge controller. I also like disc golfing, so I have a place back here where I've mounted my disc golf discs, some little screws and stuff back here. I'll just keep them organized, and then just a bunch of storage. Under my bed, which is what you're looks under here, is a 100-gallon freshwater tank, and then a inline filter system, a water softener, and a water heater. So all those are underneath my bed and connected right up. So my water I get after going through the water softener and the filters is very clean. So now onto the inside. So coming up into my bus, I painted my dash white. It was gray before, but it was super sun rotted and sun faded, sorry. And so I painted it white. Looks way cleaner now. Over here I now have, that's where I can see all my cameras up there, and then just a little storage section there. Turning around, I have a couch here that is looking over towards a TV I've mounted on the wall. And then under this butcher block here, this folds up so it can be used as a couch as well. But these two actually pull together to form a queen size bed if needed. If I have people staying with me, I can do that. This butcher block here is also on these lift away hinges. So I can actually pick this up and use it as a table in between these two couches if I ever want to like sit here and eat with people, or we want to play a board game. That can be used there. So have a 48, I believe, inch TV here, and then that is it for up front here. Oh, underneath here I also have my AC system. I went with a DC powered AC system. It runs off of 48 volts, which is another reason I went with the 48 volt system. But that is mounted as well underneath my bus, and then the evaporator is run inside to blow in here. So on the right side I have my kitchen, and on my left side I have my desk where I do my daily job. I also have, that's where I play games and work on my computer as well. So on the kitchen side, all electric again. So this is a induction cooktop, electric oven. This is sink, and then I also have a dishwasher here, which is pretty uncommon, but I can open this up and can fit a good amount of dishes in there and wash all my dishes. I got overhead cabinets on both sides, and then here is my work area. These two monitors I use for work with that laptop there, and then this monitor over here is what I use for really my play computer, and then my PS5 that's underneath there. That spins out, and I can use that for gaming. Here's my control panel where I can see everything going on. So my AC loads right now is 193 watts. I got 261 watts of solar coming in, It's pretty late in the day and it's shaded outside, so I'm not getting much solar. Earlier today I was actually getting almost 4,000 watts of solar coming in, so that was quite nice. My batteries had gotten low because I was parked under a tree. Here is my thermostat where I can control my AC system. That's where I can control my diesel heater, and then these are my light switches. So these control my lights. This controls my water pump, and these are three-way switches, so I can turn the lights off at the front as well. And then I can turn my water pump off in the shower as well if needed. So going on to the left side here, let's have a bunch of storage. This is just miscellaneous cabinet. I got things like a miniature ironing board in there that I had from college. I also have a broom and dustpan in there. Up top here is where I have things like my blender, and I have my baking sheets and pans, stuff like that. Here I have a 12-volt refrigerator, so I can run that when my inverter is off. Here is a pantry, which is way bigger than I'll ever need. I have a microwave up here as well. These shelves go very deep, so it is way more than I'll ever need. Over here on the side, this is my closet where I got all my clothes. And then turning right to the right, I have my washer dryer unit. This is a full-size unit, so I can put a ton of clothes in there and just do laundry that way. I don't have to go to laundromats and find a place to park my bus, everything like that. Now I have just some side storage here on the walls where I can put my toiletries and whatnot. And that is the wall for my shower. I went with a concrete style shower. I just use it so it's a bit wet right now. Just kind of industrial look concrete shower. Interesting thing about my shower is I went with a recirculating shower system. So I could take as long as the shower as I possibly want. Could take an hour-long shower if I want, and it would only use 2 gallons of water. Now I could take a normal shower too, and just use a butt ton of water. But this way I can actually just use 2 gallons of water, even less if I want. Shower like a bath basically is what it'd be, recirculating that water. It runs through tons of filters, and then I can flip a switch, and then I use fresh water and I rinse off, and then that water then goes all into the gray tank, and I use new water for the next shower. I don't reuse the water for a new shower, but I get new water for the next shower, rinse off with clean water. That way I can use take as long a shower I want, and I only use 2 gallons of water. Behind this curtain is I went with the Ogo composting toilet. I got lights in here, and then here's my wall switches to control my bathroom lights, my water pump, my recirculating pump, and the pump to drain the water out of my recirculating tank. At the bottom here, this is a wheel well here, which is why it had to be elevated. I just got some miscellaneous storage under there. Not much room under there, but enough to keep some extra toilet paper or whatnot there. Going into the back, I did a queen size bed here, so plenty of room. I have a small TV mounted here if I want to watch TV while in bed. Above the washer dryer combo is just kind of where I put my Starlink when it's not in use. Let's have it sitting up there. Got some extra shelving above my bed here for miscellaneous items. This light switch, I can control my bedroom lights, my shelf lights, and then this controls my DC outlet there, where it powers all the USB items. So I could turn off, just flip it off, and everything turns off. One thing to note is every single outlet on my bus, no matter what it is all connected to a switch. That way I can fully turn off the outlet if I want to, because different items on my bus, like the washer dryer, the induction cooktop, and the microwave, even when they're not in use, they're all pulling power. I'm pretty sure my induction cooktop pulls like 9 watts when not in use, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're running on a battery bank, it really does add up after a while. So everything is on a switch. On the AC side here, got some standard outlets here, which is controlled by this switch. This switch also controls power to that outlet up there and my washer dryer combo. this this timer switch here, this switch powers my water heater. So basically when I wake up, I'll hit the 20 or 30 minute button, and then by the time that's done, it goes off. I have plenty of hot water because I have a 6-gallon hot water heater for my shower, which I only need 2 gallons for. And so then I can just take a shower. That goes off. I'm not heating water all day because I don't need hot water. I never use it. My dishwasher up here only connects cold water, and it has a built-in heat pump. It heats the water itself, so I don't need to do that. Here are the vents that are one in the kitchen, one in the bathroom, and one in my back bedroom. They just open up, turn the fan on, and it exhausts everything out. They also each have a little light here to light everything up if needed. But to be honest, I don't use the light very often. I added 4 windows in from what I replaced, and these all have a bug screen, and then I usually keep them shut just for insulation purposes. Speaking of insulation, this bus was insulated with 2.5 inches of spray foam. I removed all the wall panels, the ceiling panels, took out the moldy fiberglass insulation, and put in spray foam insulation. Before I did that, I went through and re-seamed every seam on the bus because there were some spots that were leaking, and I just want to make sure that I didn't have issues with that in the future. My bed, just underneath the bed, has a water tank and there's a ton of storage under there. I can access it through this door here, but I can also access it through this lift I added in. It lifts pretty slowly, but it lifts up and will provide me with about 20 inches of access. This is hinged here, will hinge up, and I have about 20 inches of access, so I can reach whatever I want from under there. I can also access it from that back side door you saw, which was a handicap door, and then my back door behind my bed. But the one behind my bed is normally blocked when my Honda Grom is there. If my Honda Grom is off, I can access it whenever I want. But yeah, this is about it. I have a ton of butcher block in my bus. The reason for that is, I have about 5 feet here, but I don't have a lot of prep space, which is why I added this butcher block here that I can take off. It'll hinge up. I can use it as a table, but I can also use it as a prep place for food. That was the main one, just because I didn't want to be prepping food on my workstation for work and having to move all my stuff away would just cause a hassle that I did not want. The flooring is just vinyl planks. Underneath the flooring is 3/4 inch Advantech subfloor, and then underneath that is 1.5 inches of insulation as well. I went with the Foamular 250 foam boards just because it's able to hold up to people walking on it, really. Here at the side here, that's my motorcycle helmet. I just have an extra storage here. What I do is I usually use the grocery size bags for trash, and once they fill up, I open this up, just throw them in there until I find a place I can dispose of them. This is a light here that controls, again, all my lights on my ceiling. Speaking of my ceiling, I don't even know how many lights, a ton of lights on my ceiling. My ceiling is made out of, again, I had the 2.5 inches of insulation on the roof, and then I went with a PVC board for my ceiling. And so the reason I went with that is much more resistant to mold than that of wood or anything like that. In environments like this, it can get pretty humid. Right now in my bus it's 60% humidity, but that's just because I turn my AC off so I can talk. Usually it's around 50-55%, but I am here in Florida where the humidity outside is like 80%. So yeah, I went with the PVC board for the ceiling. For the walls, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do, but I just ended up going with cedar planks and really liked the way it turned out. I started going with something else, put all the walls up, and then disliked it, and I took them all down, and then went with the cedar planks for the walls. Yeah, that's about it. Got these custom cushions made. What I did is I bought a queen size mattress, and I actually cut it up into the size cushions I needed. The reason for that is these cushions would have been hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but I got a good deal on a memory foam mattress that I was able to cut up for only $100, so saved a lot of money there. One more thing to note. Lots of people wonder what I do for internet in order to work my job in this. First thing I did is I went with a T-Mobile 5G home internet, and so that is what I've mainly been using so far. From anywhere close to town, that is the most consistent. I don't need a lot of download, but it is consistent, and so that is what I normally use for working when I have signal. Like right now where I am, I'm getting like 300 download off of it, so it's great, and it's relatively cheap subscription. Now when I'm way in the boonies or whatnot, if I'm somewhere like that, you know, of course I can't get signal on that. So I have my Starlink router mounted up here where I can plug that in on the outside port, like I said, and put that antenna out there and get signal that way. It's got great download speed as well, but it's a little bit more spotty, you know. Just gotta make sure there's a satellite overhead in order, you know, to be able to get internet. But yeah, that is about it for the bus. Went through, did it all in about a course of a year and a half. Took way longer than I was wanting, if I'm being completely honest. Basically every single project I did, something went wrong, as to be expected. But yeah, I was hoping, honestly, when I got the bus to be done within like, well, I wanted it to be livable within like 4 months, but be done with it in like 6 months. But of course, I couldn't necessarily, the way I am, couldn't be done with it until it was like done. It was livable. I could have lived in this about 6 months ago if I really wanted to. But I just wanted to finish it all before actually starting the travels, because it would make it a lot harder to work in here while I'm trying to live in here. Because this place, when I was working in it, got very messy all the time. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. I've now been staying in it for the last about 2 weeks now. Just testing everything out. Haven't really had any issues yet. So probably within the next month, I will start traveling. Probably head up north, all the way up to Maine. Will be probably my first trip, because Maine is out of the way of everything, and if I don't do it probably first, I probably never will do it. So that is probably going to be my first destination, and I'll find places to stop along the way, just because that is a far trip. But yeah, this is it. Got the door there. Oh, and I have these curtains here as well. These curtains are blackout and insulating curtains that I can put over the front windshield, the side, and the door, and that greatly increases the insulation of the bus. But yep, that's all for now. I'm sure there will be a lot more stuff that comes up that I will have to fix, or things I'll add to the bus, but for now, I think this is where my work ends here.